Hey everyone, welcome to another night of Wednesday night OWCP Chats with Chris and Gini.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Gini.
What's up?
All right, so we understand, and I'll be repeating this as people hop on and people start sharing. We understand that there's still hundreds and hundreds of you asking and still trying to figure out about the COVID claim issues.
Yeah, thousands actually.
Yeah, I lowered it to hundreds, but
A lot.
it's a lot. I mean, even though we went over this at the beginning of the month or so, last month in January, there's still more questions. There's still more people asking. You know, I was told I can't file my claim. My supervisor says I can't file my claim, but it's not true.
Yeah, we're going to fix that tonight.
So we're going to fix all of that tonight. In the meantime, while I share, and Chris will do some housekeeping.
No, I got nothing.
Okay, we will
No,
be
I'm
doing
kidding.
housekeeping.
I'm kidding. All right, so we're going to be posting, I don't know if she's done it already, but
going right now.
we're posting the page from federalinjurycenters.com about COVID claims, attaching it to this so that everyone can see it. But go to federalinjurycenters.com and find that page. It's under the, I've got it pulled up in front of me. It's under the OWCP claims tab, and right below it says OWCP COVID-19 claims. So go check that out, or just click the link that she posted there.
Yeah, you see the little pin? I just pinned it down below, so you guys can click that, and it'll take you through the whole training that we're doing.
Yeah, so this is everything you need to know about how to file an OWCP COVID claim. So it's on our website. To my knowledge, this is nowhere else. You can go look up the bulletins that OWCP posted, but they're a little confusing. So what I did is I went on here and gave it to you in a way that is easy for all of us to understand. Gave you all the relevant facts and so forth. So I'm going to be using this page tonight at federalinjurycenters.com to talk to you about what we're going to do, or what you're going to do to get your OWCP COVID claims approved. Who's eligible, how to get the case accepted, and if you can't, what is your doctor going to have to do? We'll talk about all of that so that you can get a narrative report that helps you get that claim accepted. You know, one of the things supervisors are saying is that it's too late. You can't file your COVID claim because it's been longer than whatever.
Yep.
And I don't care what the whatever is. It's longer than whatever because it makes me think whatever, you know. Because you have 3 years to file a CA1 claim from the date of injury. This is a CA1 claim, and you'll have 3 years to file it from the date that you contracted COVID as a result of work. So just know that. Your supervisors that tell you that you can't do it are wrong. You're going to go to eComp and fill out your CA1 forms, and I'm getting into the teaching a little bit. But,
okay.
And your supervisor's going to get an email, and it's their job to do their part, regardless of what they think the rules are.
Okay, so those of you that are hopping on, I'm going to be jumping in and time to time and talk about for those of you that are hopping on. So we're talking about how to file your COVID claims because a lot of you still have questions and getting false information about how you can file, when you can file. So we're going to go over detail. So grab a pen and a paper, or you can click the link that's pinned down below.
Yeah, but
and it
that's
walks you through.
But don't pick it yet, or don't click it yet, because you're going to leave this page and then you'll miss everything that I'm going to say and she's going to say. Just know that when we're finished, that's what you'll do, and click it. And if I were you, I'd get very, very familiar what's going on in that page, because those of you that haven't COVID haven't COVID.
That haven't COVID.
I'm going to use better sentences later on in the evening. Those of you that haven't had COVID yet are likely, according to all the experts, to get it. And for you, as essential workers, you're going to get it most likely as a result of work, because you're going to be in contact with patients, customers, and coworkers, as they say, or members of the public. What does that even mean? It's like everybody is members of the public, you know. So if you come in contact with somebody as a result of work, you will be covered, and we want to teach you how to do it, because I think it's the most prevalent thing that's happening right now. People are getting COVID, taking 2 weeks or more off of work, and wondering how they're going to get their money back.
Yep.
And so I'm going to teach you tonight what to do so you can get your money back. And for everyone else that is interested, don't forget my books, Breaking OWCP, Volume 1 and 2, at breakingowcp.com. Probably in about a week, these books are going to go completely to PDF download. And so everyone can have easier access to it. But for tonight, they're still in paperback form. So if you want it, go to breakingowcp.com. Believe it or not, I only have 7 of these left. I don't really plan on reprinting them, but so the next 7 people that order will get this. Everyone else, I'll have to give you the PDF version because I won't be printing them. Yes, I'm waiting on the 3rd volume to come out, but I'm also waiting on my co-author to finish his chapter.
Yes.
So hopefully that'll happen soon. And then we'll have that for you as well. But go to breakingowcp.com and get your copy of both books so that you are prepared. God forbid you should get an OWCP work injury.
Yes.
So, next thing, hey, we're going to be in Fort Myers tomorrow, Fort Myers, Florida. Who is from Fort Myers or Naples or, that area down there? We'd love you to come see us at our Fort Myers location. To get the address, you go to the locations tab at federalinjurycenters.com, and you can just put that address into your GPS, and it'll be there. What time does it start tomorrow night?
It starts at 6:30.
And it goes until
8:39, depending on who's there. We're going to actually do a mini steward training, member training. As soon as everybody gets there, we'll kind of ask on maybe like the CA10 or something like that. We also have the post of Dr. Rubin's office. I did put that on the website today, and I know a lot of you shared it. So make sure that you guys come see us in Fort Myers. We have a lot of RSVPs. I spoke to Colleen. We have some presidents coming, so we look forward. So in the meantime, don't forget to share, and click the follow button. And I know there's a lot of you that are going to be coming on later on, maybe tomorrow or during the week, but get the information out there. If you have a coworker that has COVID, let them know that they still can file. There has been no notice from the people up above saying you can't file the claim. Yeah. Let's get started with the training.
So did you mention where we're going to be after Fort Myers?
No.
Well, we're not done yet. Where are we going to be next?
You go ahead and say that. So
we're actually going to Dallas as well. We're going to be flying into DFW on Friday, and we'll be there until Sunday. So we're also going to be available Saturday from 1 to 3. 1 to 3 p.m. on Saturday at the Gaylord in Grapevine, Gaylord Hotel. So come visit us at the Gaylord Saturday from 1 to 3. So if you're in the North Texas area, we will be too. And we're looking forward to meeting up with whoever comes to say hi.
Yeah, so it'll be Saturday from 1 to 3, only because we are there for a convention to try to find more doctors for you guys. So we're excited and hope we get some positive feedback this weekend. So get your paper and your pen, and let's go over COVID claims. And yes, you still can file for your COVID claims.
Yeah, and you can ask other questions as well. If you have questions about anything else, that's what this page is for. But tonight's topic is, OWCP COVID-19 claims. All right, so here's the first thing. How do you qualify to receive OWCP benefits for COVID? All right, so number one, you've got to be a federal employee, obviously, okay? So if you just got hired today, you're not going to be covered unless you get it today, right? If you already had COVID and you got it at home from a family member or whatever, that's not going to be a covered situation. The other thing that could disqualify you is that if you are a teleworker, most of you are not, but let's say that you are. You can still have COVID covered, but you'll have to have a really great narrative report from your doctor explaining how you contracted COVID in the course of business as a teleworker. So that's really important. The other thing you can't do is you can't use a home or rapid test to show that you got COVID. Okay, that's really, really important too.
Yeah.
It's got to be a PCR test, which I'm reading here. It says a polymerase chain reaction test. Now, I don't know what any of that means, but it's more than a rapid test that you do at home. So you've got to have that. If you don't have that, you need a positive antibody or antigen test. And you can upload the test results on eComp. So as long as you are not a teleworker, And as long as you were a federal employee at that time, then you should have almost no problem getting your COVID claim approved. Because what they want you to do with the American Rescue Plan Act, I think is what it is, ARPA, they're giving you the playbook on how to get these claims accepted. Have your positive test. If you don't, or if you do, get a doctor's narrative report, upload it all to eComp. So it really is simple, unless you've never been on eComp, and now maybe you're confused. So go to ecomp.dol.gov, ecomp.dol.gov. That's how you create an account on eComp. It's basically, a username and password. And once you go there as a federal employee, you're able to file your CA1 claims on eComp, and that's what they want you to do. And so what you're going to see at my Federal Injury Center's page about COVID is that you've got to go to eComp to file your CA1. Now, the cool thing about this is if your supervisor told you that it's too late, and they're wrong because it's not, nobody has had COVID for 3 years.
Correct.
I mean, almost nobody. I mean, maybe. I don't know, but
I doubt it.
The vast majority of us that had COVID have been in the last 3 years. That means that you have not missed your 3-year deadline for filing this claim. You go to eComp and you fill out your portion, and it sends an email to your supervisor to fill out their portion. When they receive an email, the email does not say, and I haven't seen this email, but my gut feeling is the subject line doesn't say, hey, supervisor, fill this out if you feel like it. Fill this out if you think you know the rules better than we do. I doubt it says that, and for sure, the supervisors don't know the rules better than they do. So when you fill out your CA1 on eComp, be sure you've got your supervisor's correct email address, right?
Yeah.
And then go to your supervisor and say you're getting an email from eComp. Be sure you take a look at it. So the cool thing about it is they stop asking supervisors about things like, did this happen in performance of duty, or they may ask that. But the supervisor is very limited on their answers. Does your knowledge of the facts of this, agree with the statement of the witness or employee? They're not asked that. Was this due to willful misconduct? They're not asked that. So it's really great. The supervisor is limited in what they can say when they fill out your CA1 eComp claim for COVID. So go to ecomp.dol.gov and fill out your CA1 form. Tell your supervisor, hey, there's something coming to your inbox, take a look. You have 10 days to get this done, because they have 10 days to get it done. That's the rule. From there, when you fill out your eComp forms, you upload your positive test. If you didn't have a positive test, it's not the end of the world. Your doctor can write a narrative report explaining how you actually did have COVID with or without positive test. So it seems like they're just saying, hey, just try a little bit and we'll say yes to this. And that's unusual because they typically try to say no to everything. But this one, they're not doing that on. All right, so I'm scrolling. My laptop's in front of me. I'm scrolling my COVID page at Federal Injury Centers. It's under the OWCP Claims tab. Just hover over it and you'll see it.
And the link is pinned below down here.
Yep. All right, you first have to prove that you're a federal employee. You have to explain how in the performance of duty you were required to have interaction with a patient, member of the public, or coworker. You have to explain how you had duties that included the risk of exposure to COVID-19, which obviously if you had to be in, around people that had COVID, there's your exposure. And evidence should establish that you began having symptoms within 21 days of the exposure to COVID-19. What they're saying is like, we're going to give you some extra time because we want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to get these claims accepted.
Yeah.
So that's what this is about. And these points can also be covered in your doctor's medical narrative. In fact, not can be, but should be. So for all of you, if you don't go to a Federal Injury Center's office because you don't have one near you because, say, you're in Idaho or Iowa or Montana or wherever, right? And we're not there yet. This is the playbook. You can take this to your doctor, and your doctor can help you get the claim accepted. And that's what I want. I want you all to have accepted claims for COVID, whether or not you go to Federal Injury Centers. Here's the playbook, so use it, okay? Are we getting any questions yet?
Well, I'm still sharing.
Are you all sharing because she's sharing?
Yeah.
We didn't say that. Did you say it?
Yeah, I said it.
Well, let me say it again. Hit the share button. And if you're here, hit the follow button and the like. I mean, let me just assume you like it. I would like it if I was you. And hit the follow button because if I liked it, I would definitely follow. And if I liked it and followed it, I would share it with my friends.
Oh, my
Oh, it'd be
goodness.
like bragging. I'd be like, shoot, you're not doing what I'm doing. I like and follow this page. You don't.
I'm gonna go to the now that I finished sharing. And the reason why we're doing the whole COVID thing again is because we've been getting so many messages.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I had COVID and my supervisor said I can't file it on OWCP.
Yeah, just today.
I mean, what the hell? Of course you can. OWCP wrote 2 bulletins saying you can. They want you to. They're telling you to do it, and here's how. So go to the link that she posted there, click it, and get very familiar with this page. So what we got? Now that I can see you, you have questions there.
All right, let's see where it goes. Okay. All right, Renee said, if you are off to work for an injury and you get COVID from going to your scheduled appointment for treatment, is this filed as a separate CA1 or added in some way in your pre-existing case?
So that's a great question. This actually happened. We have somebody who contracted COVID at physical therapy after having a back injury that was work-related. The back injury was an accepted claim. They had to be at therapy. If they didn't have the back injury, they would have never gone to therapy and been exposed to the therapist who had COVID. So technically, it was a consequential condition. It was consequential to the back injury. Without the back injury, they wouldn't have been at therapy where the therapist had COVID. But OWCP doesn't really address consequential injuries when it comes to COVID. They tell you to go and fill out a CA1 on eComp. So a consequential injury would not be a new CA1. It would be a consequence to whatever you were already, diagnosed with. But they're telling you to go to eComp and fill this out regardless.
Lenani Ray, in Minnesota, you put your supervisor's email in it, but it doesn't go to them. The USPS work comp office gets it and enters their own email and handles it all beginning to end.
So when it goes to the work comp office, that's even better. Generally, they're probably not as big of idiots as the supervisors are. They're trained in what to do where the supervisors aren't necessarily trained. So that's fine. But either way, whoever's filling it out has 10 days to submit this thing. I mean, the same CA1 rules apply. And it's not uncommon to have an HR or an injury comp or some other office related to work comp handling these. That's fine. I don't know what that is.
Nico said management does and are putting conflicting reports on where we got COVID, and then they do not agree we got it at work.
That's okay. So the beautiful thing is when your doctor explains it in a narrative report, it dwarfs what the manager says. Like, they have no power over the doctor. So when the doctor writes a true statement in a report, you can get the claim accepted.
Don said, turned in a CA1 last Saturday. OIC in charge still has not filled their part. Will DOL keep on them to comply?
Well, you'll need your union to keep on them to comply. They're breaking rules. You may have to file grievances. They have 10 days to get this into Department of Labor.
Deborah Gullidge, does the doctor have to write a narrative for you getting COVID? They tested me at the front door and my doctor spoke to me by phone.
Okay, you do not have to have a doctor write a narrative report. We have our doctors trained to write narratives in case you're just hitting dead end after dead end so they can unlock the logjam. But the bulletins that OWCP put out said that if you file your CA1 on eComp and you upload your positive test results, and you can show that you contracted COVID as a result of interaction with the public or customers or whatever, patients, then you're going to be approved. But if they're denied, you can't just say nothing. You have to do something about it. So if they're denied, you need to you need a doctor's narrative to help with your denial. And that's a thing. And one of the bulletins, the second bulletin, in fact, 21-10, said that all previous denials are going to be automatically reconsidered if there was a positive antigen or antibody test. Well, we're not going to hope that they automatically reconsider us. We're going to have a doctor write a narrative explaining that they should, and we're going to ask you to go ahead and fill out an appeal request form and check reconsideration. That way we know for sure that the proper steps will be taken and your claim will be reconsidered so it can be approved.
Yep. Stephen Simon says, thanks for putting this information out there. Most
You're
people
welcome.
don't know it's covered. No one is telling us about it. I am spreading the word at work.
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't agree more, Stephen. Look, people just have no clue that they can have COVID covered by the federal government as a result of interaction with work. But when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Like, everything else that happens to you at work can be covered by OWCP if you get hurt or sick or whatever. So, of course, this should apply too. And especially for you, who they made work when all the rest of us were staying home. I mean, when we were home, we were getting packages delivered. We were getting mail
everybody
delivered.
was still working.
You know, the VA, my father-in-law, you know, goes to the VA near his house. They're still working. You know, TSA is still checking passengers to fly on planes that are still flying. So, of course, these things should be covered. And when your supervisors tell you that they're not covered, they're just wrong or they're lying to you.
Or sometimes they don't even know.
Well, that's what wrong is. They're just
you know.
wrong. They don't mean anything by it, but they're used to being wrong because supervisors are wrong quite a bit.
Ron Speakman said, call OSHA if management does not give it to you, sit on or fill out your paperwork. And I've been telling that to everybody. Contact your union rep. Somebody told me their union rep doesn't help. They contacted their union and the union hasn't gotten back to them in 3-4 days.
Yeah, and Ron's right about calling OSHA too, because this is, I mean, the S in OSHA is safety, right? Safety and health is the H. Well, COVID is definitely a health concern. And if you contracted COVID at work, it's a health issue. And OSHA, their 6th employee right says the right to report a work injury. Well, in this case, COVID is a work injury. It's a condition. So you have a right to do that, and it is a crime for anyone to prevent you from doing it.
Yeah. Amanda Holden said, what if my supervisor responded more than 10 days after I submitted my CA1, then controverted my claim, said I wasn't at work when I was?
Well, your supervisor. Okay, your supervisor is probably an idiot. But you need your union to fight on your behalf. So this is where I'll tell all of you that are not active with your union, you should be.
Yeah.
You're not familiar with who your union reps are, you should be. Or maybe you haven't joined your union, you should probably consider it because that's who fights for you when everyone else is against you.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to fight with you, or not with you, for you. So is she. But there's lines we can't cross. We can't go into your agency and tell your supervisor anything. If I could give your supervisor the what for every single time they did something wrong, that would be a full-time job, number one, because like there's a lot of them. I just can't, you know, but your union can, so get involved with your union and ask for help.
And like Mr. Simon says, eComp works because it leaves a digital trail.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You upload something there, it gives you what's called a DCN, a document control number, and it gives you the date and time something was uploaded. And so if the claims examiner says, I never got that, you can say, well, the DCN number is this, and it says it was uploaded this time and this day. And they'll say, oh, you mean that document. Okay, I found it because we have DCN numbers here. And sometimes they'll say it's not a DCN, and you'll say, no problem, check your ECN numbers. I don't know why they have an E and a D. It's like your blue book and your black book for your cars. I've never seen a black book, but when you go buy a car, the sales guy says there's this black book. The last time I did that, I said, yeah, show it to me.
Yeah,
because I can find the blue book value on Google. Why can't I find the black book value? Where's this at, you know? So treat your supervisors like a used car guy.
Teresa Hamilton said, what do you suggest we do when management has not done their part on COP? They approved a CA1 for COP, but denied the 3971 for COP. I'm a shop steward fighting this.
Well, I mean, that's a grievance waiting to happen. People that don't have access to COP typically experience what I call here personal life destruction. You know, it's awful. You don't have any money because you can't work. You can't pay your bills because you're not at work. You know, those are serious problems, right? So get with your union and get representation and get help on that. You have a right to COP. The rules state when you file a CA1, regardless if it's COVID or anything else, within 30 days, you're eligible for COP. The only reason you wouldn't be eligible is if you were not a federal employee and you didn't contract this in the performance of duty. But when you can prove that you did, you get COP, so get some help.
Yeah. Kim Salgot said, you need to file, people. I thought I was okay. A year later, I'm battling long COVID. My injuries are life-threatening.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the thing about COVID. I'm not a doctor, so if you're new here, just know I'm not a doctor. And so you're hearing that for the first time, but everyone else knows. But I'm also not stupid. And I know that we're dealing with a new virus that nobody's ever seen. And there are going to be, you know, potential side effects from the vaccine, from the medications that we take, the therapeutics, from the virus itself. You know, like things smell funny to me, even still months after having COVID. There are people that have heart conditions and, you know,
underlying conditions.
It clearly messes up your lungs.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's a lung disorder. So, you know, you need your COVID claims approved because if you ever need help for something that's a side effect of COVID or the vaccine or the medications, you'll be covered.
Don, you asked, do we have USPS work comp number? No, I don't.
Sorry.
Lainey Ray said, so to your previous answer on my question, I did submit all my CA7s, never heard of CA17. I had out of work notes, all was set to go, and I was told that I would have pay within a week or two, but then the federal work comp gave me a letter stating my doctor's notes are insufficient evidence. Now I don't know if they are going to pay me or not.
All right, so once your claim is accepted, then you become eligible to be paid. So let's make sure that's happened, right? Your claim gets accepted. From there, yeah, you turn in your CA7s if you didn't have COP. Obviously, COP gets you paid. Outside of COP, once your claim's accepted, you need a CA7, claim for compensation. You said you didn't know what a CA17 was. That makes me a little bit sad. That's how your doctor takes you off of work, sends you back to work, and writes restrictions for your work. So you need that. You know, let's say that you have to walk 10 miles a day because you're a letter carrier, and your doctor says as a result of COVID, you can't walk 10 miles a day. They have to have some way to write your restrictions. Or they say, you know, you have to be off 2 weeks because, you know, or 5 days or whatever it is these days when you have to quarantine. Well, when you quarantine, you got to get paid because you received COVID from work. Anyways, see how frustrating this is? I'm frustrated. I'm not even a federal employee with COVID. But this is why you're all here tonight, because your supervisors are jacking you around. And, you know, it's not fair. You have a right to get help. Anyways, let's go to new questions. I'm not even sure I answered the last question.
I know, he's upset now.
I was so frustrated by the last one, I'm not even sure I answered it.
Maybell Bullis, will your doctor willingly fill out a narrative? Mine seems hesitant, especially if it's work-related. How do I lay it out to them? I need their opinion that they agree that that's how it happened.
What's her name? Mabel?
Mabel, yeah.
Mabel, my doctors are required to write your narratives. Even if they don't want to write them, they have to write them. And even if they don't want to write it, they have to write it good. I'm being really demonstrative to say, heck yeah, they're going to write your narrative.
Renee Murray said, if only the truth about how to handle OWCP spread as fast as COVID did.
Oh man, that's so funny. That's right. You know, COVID spreads way faster than the truth. You couldn't have said that better.
Gloria said, with COVID claims, you file a CA1. Do you get COP? Does management give workers CA16 or wait until the case is approved?
Yeah, so check this out. So go to my the link that Gini posted there at the bottom of the page. It's at federalinjurycenters.com for my COVID page, because I wrote a page just for you. But there's a section here that says CA16 for OWCP COVID-19 claims. The bulletin states that the employing agency is prompted to provide, by eComp, a CA16 if they do not substantively dispute the employee's description of cause and nature of injury, and if the claim was submitted within 1 week of the date of contracting COVID. So this bulletin, 2109, states you get a CA16, but of course you do. It's a CA1 claim. If you report your CA1 within 7 days, you get a CA16, so you should get that. If you didn't, go demand it. Show them this page, show them Bulletin 21-09 from OWCP. Make them see, and I gave you the exact wording here. So make them see that they're required to give it to you, because we're seeing that they're not giving you CA16 and they're not giving you COP, but it's a CA1 claim. Report within 7 days, you get a CA16. Report within 30 days, you're eligible for COP.
Yeah.
The end.
You guys are getting that confused a lot. So if you, after this, go to the link and you could read it there too. Jody Goodwin said, I have an old shoulder injury. Case was closed in 2017. I now have back injury and I'm going to PT and aggravated my shoulder at PT. What can I do?
You aggravated your shoulder? Okay, can I just say it again?
I
have an old shoulder injury. Case was closed. I now have a back injury and I'm going to PT and aggravated my shoulder. What do I do? Okay, so there's two ways you go about this, and you have to go and decide which way you go, but you start with your doctor. Both ways start with your doctor. You go to your doctor and you say, you know, I had this old shoulder injury. Is this a recurrence? Did I do something that just inflamed my old shoulder condition from 2017? Or is this new? Because if it's new, then you now have a consequential injury to whatever you're going to therapy for, because therapy caused a new injury, and you wouldn't have been at therapy if you didn't have this new injury, right?
Correct.
So it could be consequential, or it could be a recurrence. And if it's a recurrence, your doctor will just have to explain how, as a result of going to therapy for a new injury, you had a recurrence of an old injury. So you got to figure out, do I need a new CA2A, or is this consequential to something I'm doing in therapy?
All right, Susan Baker said the COVID was work-related. Well,
That's right.
you go. What happened there?
I was unplugged. Oh. No, that's right. So OWCP is assuming it's all work-related. Basically, they're saying it's work-related until you prove us wrong. They want you to get this covered by OWCP. So make your effort. It should happen.
Yeah. Tish said time cards.
Time cards, Tish. You know what those do.
Yeah. It shows that you were at work. Mr. Simon said, I uploaded tests and the office notes with the doctor confirming my symptoms as COVID. Post office did not controvert my claim. They actually made supporting statements that were helpful. I was kind of shocked. Yeah.
I'm shocked. Tell your supervisor I said hi and thank you.
Teresa Hamilton said, contact HR for that number. It depends on what district you're in. That was for
the phone number you call if you're
guy,
at work.
Yeah.
There's a 877 or 800 number you have to call. I just don't know it, and it's different for every agency.
Margaret Allen said, our union told us COVID is no longer being paid.
Margaret, tell your union to check Bulletin 21-09 and 21-10 from OWCP, because it's absolutely going to be paid.
Yeah, and this is the questions that I've been answering, because this is what I'm seeing, is that a lot of you are saying, but I can't, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to say I can't and I helped you, then I can't say anything more.
And if you say can't, I'm going to feel like there's fingernails on a chalkboard someplace.
Yeah, because you can, and we're telling you that, like I've said this last week, if you're going to listen to your supervisor and do what they are going to tell you to do, fine. But then don't come and when I give you an answer, say, well, no, my supervisor said.
Okay,
not.
So let me say it differently. Your supervisor is going to screw you over if you listen to what they say.
I didn't want to say that.
If it contradicts me. So if I say something and your supervisor says something different, let's put odds on who's wrong. Okay? Because it ain't me. So I'll put my money on supervisor is wrong. We hear this all the time. We have people that say, well, I thought I could get a CA16, but my supervisor said I can't because, I didn't report my injury in 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm telling you the rule says 7 days. Well, my supervisor said 3, so I'm going to go with them. Okay, well, you're going to go with never getting a CA16 because you don't, you're not listening. So you're here. We're glad you're here. Like, follow, share, and listen. Like, follow, share, and listen, I think, are the way we go. Like, follow, share, but also listen.
The listen button's at the bottom.
Yeah, because the stuff I'm telling you, I guarantee you, your supervisor's wrong and I'm right. All right, what we got?
Okay, hold on. All right, for some reason we were freezing, so if I missed your question...
That's okay, just start where you start. And if we don't get to your question and you realize we kind of skipped over it, just, ask it again, no problem.
Deborah Gullidge said, also, your Federal Injury Center in Birmingham, Alabama said, I won't get paid from OWC because I don't have physical therapy 5 days a week. They have me on light duty 4 hours of the day and physical therapy 3 times a week, but I said I don't get paid for the days I'm not having therapy.
So I don't know your situation. That I'd be really surprised if the Birmingham office had that wrong. So there probably is something going on there that I'm not aware of, but I'd like to know more about it.
Yeah, message us. Mr. Simon said, I got a prescription card, $1,500 for medical. I think it's good for 180 days through eComp.
Yeah, good.
Teresa said, I printed that free PDF request for the CA16 from you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. And what she's talking about is at breakingowcp.com. I've got a tab that says free downloads. So you go there, and there's one form there. There's several forms, actually, but one of the forms is to help you get a CA16. So check that out.
Kenneth Giles said, what determines minor or major?
Your doctor determines that. Nobody but your doctor.
Jackie Bush, good evening.
Hey.
Okay, somebody, because I went out of my live and came back in, somebody wanted to know the difference between what is the CA16 and a CA17.
So the CA16 pays all your medical bills for 60 days after a CA1 claim is filed within 7 days of the injury. Or in this case, a CA1 for COVID that's filed by eComp within 7 days of contracting it. That's what a CA16 does. It pays your medical bills. Back in the day, I used to say that it pays your bills for 60 days, And somebody at a live union meeting asked me, does it also pay my car payment? So I realized I was saying it wrong. It pays your medical bills for 60 days, only the medical bills related to your OWCP injury or claim. If you have an OWCP claim for your back and you go to the doctor for the flu, it will not pay your medical bills for that. It only pays medical bills for what's related to your OWCP condition. A CA-17 is how a doctor takes you off of work, sends you back to work, or writes restrictions or lifts restrictions for work. They're two totally separate things.
Yeah. Ron Speakman said, I did all that and they were useless, made me miss deadlines. I called Congress, got them involved, contacted the NLRB, hired a lawyer, filed EEOs. My experience, national and my NBA were useless. They get paid 6 figures and they can only help me when we need an appeal to be handled. We shouldn't be getting to that point. We should be getting accepted claims. Our union and national and even management needs to be trained better. It's unreal how national...
So I'm going to go ahead and stop her. So Ron has had every problem known to man when it comes to OWCP. And Ron's basically saying that, so I'm not giving away anything that would be private to him. So he's got strong opinions, and I don't disagree with him. But what I will say is that if you file your claim on time, you get a CA-16, you get COP, you go to the right lawyer, not the wrong one, the right doctor, not the wrong one, then everything's probably going to go smoothly for you compared to somebody else who doesn't. That dude dealt with everything. So if you want to know like how to overcome a problem,
contact Ron.
He knows how to overcome problems. But like I always say, and his wife Lindy will appreciate this, don't contact him late at night because that man likes to go to bed, and wife likes to know that her husband is in bed at bedtime. So if you're in Pennsylvania, that's where he's at, give him a call. If you're outside of Pennsylvania, give me a call. You'll get the same answer regardless. Don't worry. But, you know, take it easy with Ron. That dude wants to go to bed at night, and his wife would really appreciate it. But, man, for real, the first time I ever talked to him, I realized we were driving through Montgomery. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Alabama. And I was on the phone. She was driving. I was on the phone talking to Ron. And I said, man, you've literally been through everything. Like, everything. Every bad thing I ever heard ever happened to anybody, they all happened to him. And he's still standing. So that's a testament to him, and it's a lesson to all the rest of you. There's a way out of this thing.
Oh, that lady wanted to know about a CA5C, not CA16.
Well, okay, so you're talking about an OWCP 5C. And there's no such thing as a CA5C, but an OWCP 5C is like the doctor communicating to the agency what your physical abilities are. It's outside of a CA17. It's more closely related to a 17 than a 16 because it has nothing to do with what a 16 is.
Jenny Mills said, I filed for COVID like 3 weeks later because I didn't know I can file for this. I haven't received a CA16.
Well, you won't because you waited 21 days and not 7.
I guess because later than 7 days. Do they pay for 6 days I used, or what's the help OWCP is giving?
Yeah, so once your claim is approved, you'll have an opportunity to get paid back with a CA7B leave buyback form for your sick days that you took.
Jackie Bush says, why the caseworker of DOL told me I needed to get a lawyer to help me with my case because she couldn't direct me or point me in the right direction to get the right professional medical trained physician. But they're the ones who's telling me that the doctors that I've been going to isn't an MD.
Well, okay, the problem is you're probably, and I'd like to know where you're located, but you're probably in a state where there's not a single doctor who's willing to help you. But wherever you are, it's got to be an MD. I mean, we work with chiropractors all over the country. But our chiropractors know that if they didn't have MDs, they couldn't help you. They all have medical doctors. So your medical doctor at your doctor's office is going to have to do the work. But I'd like to know where you're located.
Crystal said the only info available seems to be COVID CA1 resulting from work exposures. What about when exposure is not during work? Is there no CA2 scenario for this complication?
All right, so for OWCP, if you were exposed outside of work, you will not be covered. We had somebody who claimed, it was their statement, not mine. So when I say claimed, I'm just saying they made a statement. That they got COVID from their brother at home. Okay, I'm sorry, I had COVID and it sucks, and I don't want anybody to have it. But you got it at home from your brother, it's not OWCP. So the key is that you just got to be able to prove it's related to work. If not, then, your health insurance will cover it, though.
Renee Marie said, I believe the confusion on being paid is that the number of hours USPS, etc. is willing to pay expires, so it's not automatically and immediately paid. Now people need to do their paperwork and handle their part.
Well, that's right. I mean, once you are outside of, I don't know, whatever the post office thinks you should be paid, your CA7 is going to cover you. You're going to be fine with the CA7. You just have to attach the proper documentation like I'm always talking about, which is a CA-17 from your doctor, doctor's visits, printouts of the appointments, a CA-20, and a disability narrative written by your doctor explaining why, as a result of COVID, you had to be out of work. And the fact that a doctor's got to explain in a disability narrative that why, as a result of COVID, you had to be out of work, I think is a flaw. I think they should just assume you had COVID and that's why you're out of work, because they're all telling us to quarantine. So of course you had to be home. But you still need the doctor's narrative.
Don said, I used annual leave for 17 days. Will I be able to buy back leave after making COP on a CA1? Will I fill out a CA7 or is it lost?
No, you fill out a CA7. Once your COVID claim for OWCP is approved, you have the eligibility to get paid back for every day you're off of work starting day one using a CA7.
Gloria said, please repeat from when diagnosed with COVID, how long to report?
Well, you have 3 years to report. Okay, who was that, Diane?
Gloria.
You have 3 years to report and still get help and paid back and reimbursements and stuff. In order to get a CA16, you need to report within 7 days of getting COVID. In order to get COP, you need to report within 30 days of getting COVID. This is a CA1 claim, so treat it like a CA1 claim.
Brenda Smith, so what happens when you're already out for workers' comp, but now they're saying I'm accepted for traumatic injury? Does the time restart for the 45 days leave? I'm still waiting on my first paycheck from January.
No, it does not restart. 45 days is 45 days from the date of injury.
Sandra Davis, what is the difference between CA17 versus a CA5C?
Okay, so it's a CA17 and an OWCP 5C. And just for all of you that are curious, and you too, Sandra, if you go to the workers' comp, I'm reading my website at the same time. If you go to federalinjurycenters.com and go to the OWCP forms tab,
which I linked down below,
you can see the two forms. A CA-17 is called a duty status report. Your supervisor gives that to you, fills out side A, saying what your work requirements are physically. Your doctor on side B says, here's your restrictions, or no restrictions at all. Or they use it and say you're off of work, or they use it and send you back to work. But the OWCP 5C is a little more comprehensive. It gives a little more detail, but the doctor has an opportunity on a 5C to explain what you can and can't do at work, just like a 17. So it's a very similar form. It just has a little more information on it for the doctor to fill out. And when your supervisor refuses to give you a 17, your doctor should freely print an OWCP 5C from my website so you can be protected at work.
Deborah Gullard said, so I was the only one out a week with COVID. Does OWCP still pay me for the week I missed at work?
Yes. With the CA7, if you didn't have COP, you get your claim accepted, which is why we're doing this, okay? I mean, all my doctors are getting trained or have been trained to write your narrative so you can get that claim accepted if it was denied or not approved or whatever. So you can go back and get your money back, your time back. I don't want anybody who's a federal employee who had to deliver my mail when I was locked in at home not getting paid for their time off of work. So we're doing this thing so that you get paid if you're off of work.
Kiki Conway said, I got COVID and pneumonia. I was in the ICU. I haven't gotten COP. I've been seeing a pulmonologist. I was pregnant and had to have my daughter early. I'm still having issues breathing and I'm still out. What do I do? Does my case have to get approved for me to get continuation of pay?
Yeah.
My OWCP caseworker said I should be getting paid, but the post office hasn't paid me.
So you're not going to get COP if it was more than 30 days ago and you didn't file your claim yet. But if you filed your claim inside of 30 days, you should get COP for 45 days. So when did you file your claim, right? If you didn't, go to ecomp.dol.gov tomorrow, file it, do the stuff that I tell you to do to get your claim accepted, and then go back and do leave buyback for the time you took off.
Lainey Ray said, okay, what happens? COVID-19 in September 2021, filed at an ecomp right away, went back to work within 3 weeks, but was not 100% well. It finally caught up to the caught up with end of December 2021, now diagnosed with long-term COVID. Will it mess it all up then?
No, it won't. Once your claim is accepted, you're going to be covered for all of the side effects of COVID. Everything that comes next. Imagine you have a back injury, and as a result of your back injury, you're getting shooting pain down your leg and you can't walk. That actually happened to me, so I take that very personally. But you can't walk. Okay, well, that I can't walk is covered, right? If you get COVID and you can't do something, that's covered too.
Dr. Cooper says he wants you guys to know to please remind people, do not get a television attorney for an OWCP auto accident. One of the folks that called you were on their second accident. First one got a TV attorney, settled the case, and now is making monthly payments to the government. This is crazy. They need to know.
So Dr. Cooper is in Forest Park, Georgia, and Phoenix City, Alabama, which is like Columbus, Georgia. And Forest Park is like,
Atlanta.
The airport. It's kind of like the airport, right? He says he can see the airplanes from his office. And he's right about that. Whatever Dr. Cooper tells you, do that. And if you're in the Atlanta area or you're in Columbus, Georgia, go see him.
Yeah, don't call the TV attorneys.
Don't call the TV attorney. Call him.
Tammy Hoskins said, hi, I've been off for 3 weeks and still off. I have a positive COVID test from the doctor's office and hospital. I'm using all my new AL. Will I get my time back?
Yeah, it's called leave buyback. Once your claim is accepted, you fill out a CA7, a 7A if it's intermittent, and a 7B if you're leave buyback. Fill those out. Go to federalinjurycenters.com. I've got a videos tab that shows you how to fill out a CA7. Okay, so the C4 case status is not something that I know by memory, although I'm thinking I should probably figure it out. I'm sorry, my battery's almost dying. That's why I was over there. So can you just show me the question again? I want to help. It means I get COP. I haven't received any pay. How do I get it? All right, go to your union and find out why you're not getting COP. Call your claims examiner, find out why you're not getting COP, and look on eComp at your CA1 and see if on box 36 of page 2, your supervisor said they're going to controvert COP. That is most likely. Take a look. It's box 36. It's the very bottom of page 2.
Teresa Hamilton said, if you work at USPS, it's work-related, period. You do not have to prove where it came from.
Well, they ask you where it came from. Like, they ask you, who did you come in contact with that had it? Do the best you can. They even ask you what time. Do the best you can. They're going to approve it.
Crystal said, I was out of work, so definitely not exposed during work hours.
Yeah, so that's definitely not an OWCP claim. But I'm sorry you got COVID, and I hope you're better.
Maybell said, I have torn meniscus. I will be filing a CA2. My orthopedic specialist says he doesn't write narrative supporting injury, and I need to ask my primary. My primary only wants to write in my notes and not an actual narrative on a letterhead to OWCP stating where I got my injury or my injury is from work. How do I get about getting this approved? There wasn't an actual specific event that caused the year that I don't know, but nothing. What do you do?
Don't worry about it. All right, so you have a torn meniscus.
Nothing activity outside of work.
You got to be able to prove that it happened at work, which isn't that hard. You know what we do is our doctors write a narrative that says when you woke up that morning, you were pain-free, symptom-free, you weren't limping, everything was fine. You showed up to work, you clocked in, everything was still fine. Nobody even noticed you limping because you weren't limping. And then you started your job. Maybe you were like casing metal, or you're loading the truck or whatever. And then like 3.5 hours into your job, you stepped out of your vehicle and you tore your meniscus. Well, I don't know if it's a torn meniscus, but my knee hurts now and it didn't hurt before. And so the doctor will write all of that, then get an MRI and show the torn meniscus and say, hey, if that torn meniscus was there before, they would have had pain and symptoms and all that other stuff prior. They got to work, everything was fine, and then this happened. That's how we get those claims accepted.
Teresa,
and we get those claims accepted at a prolific rate. Okay, period.
Teresa Hamilton, if you filed within 30 days and was approved COP, you do not file a CA7. I found this from Postal Injury Comp Department.
Okay, so that's true and not true. You don't file a CA7 until COP runs out and if you're still out of work. You know, COP runs out in 45 days or it runs out when your claim is accepted, whichever comes first. After it runs out, the only way to get paid for time off is the CA7, at which point you have to fill that out and attach that documentation we talked about. All right, so before we go any more questions, let me just remind everyone to click the link that Gini posted. It's the COVID page for federalinjurycenters.com. I wrote this for you, and I organized it in such a way that every person can understand it. If you've got a question after this, please let us know. Send us a message. You can message us on the website, or you can call us, or you can, come here to Facebook and send us a private message on Facebook. But I try to put everything here that you all need to know so that you can get your COVID CA1 OWCP claims approved. That's a mouthful. COVID CA1 OWCP. But the point is, that's what these are. These are CA1 claims. They are COVID because you got it, and it happened at work, so it's OWCP. So go to our federalinjurycenters.com COVID page at the OWCP claims tab, or click it on the link that she sent, so that you know what you're doing, so you get these claims approved. Nobody should have to take 2 weeks off or more related to COVID when you were essential and you couldn't stay home like the rest of us did.
Jenny Mills said, "Thank you guys, and I got my money for my schedule award. Yay.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Win, win, win.
Congratulations.
You guys inspired me to fight. My doctor is in Phoenix and helped me too. I don't think he's with you guys, but he knows what he's going to do. I got you guys booked, and I got my money."
Congratulations. We're so happy for you.
Yes.
Hey, this information works. When you listen to us and not your supervisor, things work out.
Kiki Conway said, "How do you know you got approved for COP?"
Well, you start getting paid, and it's not from a CA7. That sounds totally sarcastic, but you can look at your CA1 form, and the back page, the last question, is if your supervisor plans to controvert COP. If they're not trying to controvert COP, you're going to get it.
Kenneth Giles said, I'm having surgery next month and will need a COVID test before surgery. Will OWCP pay for the test? And yes, surgery is from an accepted case.
So interestingly, OWCP on their fee schedule does pay for COVID testing. So they will pay it, but they only will pay it to the doctor after you were positive and your case was approved. So let's say like you took a COVID test, your doctor writes a narrative and explains you had a COVID test and you were positive as a result of work. Once that claim is approved, they'll go back and pay for that COVID test.
Kathy said, I have a job offer. They offer me to case mail for 1 hour. I work 1 hour, then claim 7-hour OWCP. What happens when you are out, personal, sick, or take vacation? Do I still put 1 hour SL, AL, and claim the rest 7 hours OWCP?
No, let's say you're working an hour, and then you're out 7 hours on LWAP. But you go to, say, Cancun for a week. Well, that's vacation. All right, they're not going to pay you LWAP for vacation. That'll be vacation time. And I think that was your question. I hope I answered it properly. But if you go out on sick and annual leave having nothing to do with work comp, it'll come out of your sick and annual leave.
H.M. Rosa said, how about if your supervisor does not want any DOL forms, OWCP 5C, because she's hanging onto the fact that your claim has been denied, so doesn't have to accept anything DOL related?
Well, that's a union issue. Get your union involved, file agreements, have them fight for you, because unions are powerful.
Marty said, I had to take care of my 7-month-old over 5 days because she got a positive diagnosis. Would that be covered?
Sadly, no. I'm really sorry about that. Now, let's say, okay, I'm really spitballing here. This is all new for everybody. But let's say you got COVID, and you got COVID from a customer. Like, I don't know what you do, but let's say you're a letter carrier. And you delivered a package to somebody's front door, they opened the front door and they sneezed on you, which is a real jerk move, but they did it. And you got COVID, and then you took COVID home, and then your family member got COVID, and you had to take off for them. I don't think so. There's nothing in the rules in these bulletins that would make that something that OWCP would cover. So I'm going to say no. I had to talk it through, but I don't think so.
Teresa Hamilton said, I spoke to a postal injury comp and she returned a CA7 filed for someone. She said CA1 was filed and approved along with COP. So management must approve the COP. No CA7 needed at this time.
So the only reason management would not have to approve the COP is if they believe that you got COVID at home and not at work. And then they'd have to prove that, and your doctor would do a better job proving that they didn't than they would prove that you did.
James Colbert said, what do you do when the ortho surgeon won't see you for surgery because you've seen too many doctors, and second, because you have state insurance as a backup insurance?
Find another doctor. That's a crappy answer, but that's the answer.
Teresa said those that file CA1 all get notified they can file CA7, but everyone doesn't need to. Management puts in COP.
Well, it just depends on if COP runs out or not. When it runs out, if you're still out of work, you need a CA7.
Jackie Bush said, I really, really appreciate and love how y'all try to respond and give the right information, even though I'm still fighting with this case and I do not have my books.
I do have my books.
Oh, I do have my books and read them both.
Well, thank you for that. When book 3 comes out, hopefully that's helpful, and we're very happy to be able to help you.
Jeremy said, y'all rock. Thank you for your expertise.
Well, you're very welcome. You rock as well. If nobody's told you that lately, you also rock.
Latrice Child said, do anyone in Chicago area know where OWCP sends you for an MRIs? I had a shoulder injury.
Can I just stop this? Nobody sends you anywhere for MRIs except for your doctors. Your doctor has to have an MRI place that they send you to. OWCP doesn't send you anywhere, ever. Your supervisors try to send you to doctors that are the wrong ones, but the doctor you go to decides what MRI place you go to.
Hashtag file a grievance. I want one of those shirts.
Well, the shirts are at the breakingowcp.com website. There's a tab that says gear, so check it out.
Lillian Hampton said, I filed a CA7 twice and have been denied twice, COVID work related.
Well, so you're a prime candidate to go to a doctor to write a narrative to get your claim accepted. And that's why last Monday and Wednesday I did trainings for 50 offices on how to get a COVID claim approved for OWCP. So if you're struggling with that, go to the locations tab at Federal Agency Centers and see if there's a doctor that's close to you. That makes sense.
Jackie Bush said, well, DOL is trying to say that the labrum tear that I have in my right hip isn't work-related, but the arthrogram MRI says different.
So that's the good news. Your doctor will be able to approve that it is work-related, even when OWCP disagrees. Because the good news is the people disagreeing at OWCP are not doctors. So your doctor is going to win if he or she writes a great narrative.
Jeremy said, smile, Genie and Chris.
Well,
that's how I was like.
Hi.
Kenneth Giles said, I filed in time, check COP box, but use my sick time. How can COP and get my sick time back?
Yeah, so you're going to have to file a CA7B for leave buyback and get your time back. And talk to your union and your supervisor and your claims examiner and find out why you didn't get COP.
Ron said, if you're new here, please stand up and be your own advocate for your rights. Never give up. Hold management accountable. Educate yourself and out that knowledge to work for you. And remember, there are many resources out there for you, starting with your union.
He's right, 100%.
Margaret said, COVID tested, 127 tested positive, was in the emergency room on the 28th, passing out, sent home. On 210, couldn't walk on left leg. 215, got back to the emergency room. Blood clots in the lungs and left leg. Put immediately in the hospital. Still here. And COVID pneumonia. Have not filed a CA1 in 7 days. So much going on. Can I file 30 days if I'm okay?
You can have a union rep file for you. Just have someone else file for you. So you stop the deadline and you start getting your benefits paid.
I know. Kiki said, will they pay for the ICU? My OWCP claims manager said to put in a formal initial review of requests. Is that something I should do?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's still...
All right, talk to them again about where we're going to be. Be right back.
Jackie said, Ron, I've been off for 5 months and I'm ready to talk to you. So... Okay, Lainey Ray said, my doctor has scheduled tests to be done, echocardiogram and MRI, but they have not received a prior authorization. And one appointment is Friday morning. Will they cover it if not approved beforehand? It depends on the MRI facility. Your doctor's supposed to send you to a place that will accept the MRI. If not, you can use your insurance on your MRI, and once you get your claim approved, you'll go ahead and file that with DOL and get your money back for your MRI and your echocardiogram. Mabel says, from what Chris is saying, my doctor should be working on a narrative. Yes. If you can't find a doctor that's going to write a narrative, number one, don't pay for a narrative to get written. And number two, you can go to our website at federalinjurycenters.com and you can click the locations tab. I'm still reading. Lisa said, I fell on 2/2/22 after a delivery package at a customer's home. You mean 2001, a delivery package at a customer's home. I fractured my ankle. Doctor said it's high ankle sprain. I had an MRI done on Sunday. Both CA and CA-17 have been filed, but haven't heard of a denial or approval COP. Should I be concerned? I'm an RCA. Well, Chris walked in right in time. Lisa said, I fell on 2/2/21 after delivery package at a customer's home. I fractured my ankle. Doctor said it's high ankle sprain. I had an MRI done on Sunday. Both CA and CA-17 have been filed, but haven't heard of denial of approvals of COP. Should I be concerned?
No, don't be concerned. I mean, it takes time. Believe me, it takes time. If you ever feel like, wow, things are just taking a long time, call your claims examiner, but generally speaking, it's going to take some time.
Oh, 2/2/22. Okay, so that just happened. Okay. Tanya said, I just got back from Redondo. They are great. HRM threw a fit when they found out I was being treated out of town, but I bit them back.
Well, you can go wherever you want to go. The thing says you have the right of initial selection of physician. So you can go anywhere. You can go to Alaska if you want, but if you want to go to Redondo Beach, Florida, because it's awesome, you can. And whoever has not been to Redondo Beach, Florida, we went, and it's like this little pocket of beautiful inside of California. Not that California is not beautiful, because it is, but Redondo Beach was fantastic.
All right, this is the last question, and we're going to go ahead and end tonight. What do you suggest when management tries to stop the union, myself, from helping people with claims and filing?
I suggest your union fight harder. Like labor board charges, grievances, whatever it takes. I mean, there are rules that your union has to follow, and it depends on, the administration, honestly, I think, a lot of times. But your union knows what to do. They have a contract with the agency, and when they're getting, rejected, somebody's got to step up. So you go to your union president or somebody and have them step up.
Julie said, do all federal injury centers do schedule awards?
Not yet. Oh, Julie, that's such a great question. We're going to end on it because it's that good of a question. For all of my federal injury centers doctors that are watching tonight,
yeah.
If you heard the question, the question is, do all federal injury centers doctors do schedule awards? The answer is not yet, because many of them have not been trained. But right now, we've got a handful of them that are getting trained, that are excited about being trained. Most notably, our Pinellas Park and St. Pete office, Dr. Fred Freed, right?
Fred Freed, yeah.
What a great name. He's doing schedule award training right now. And so we'll be listing this at federalinjurycenters.com. We will have a schedule awards tab so that you'll know which doctors are trained. Because we intend to help every single one of you with your schedule award. You can't go through this whole process, get an accepted claim, get better, get MMI, and not get a schedule award. It doesn't work for us. We want you to have it. It's your right as a federal employee. So we are working hard on it. Everybody that works at federal injury centers is pushing the doctors to get trained.
Okay, Latrice, it is true. You can go get it if you need an MRI. If the doctor is sending you for an MRI and it wasn't approved by OWCP, you can definitely use your insurance. You will get it back. So
well,
yes.
You'll get it back when you fill it out in OWCP 915 to get paid back once your claim's accepted.
Yeah.
But the MRIs are so helpful to get your claim accepted that you shouldn't avoid it. If you can use your health insurance and your copays, I don't like, by the way. At our doctor's offices, we have MRI facilities that work with us and don't take your money.
Yeah.
But if you end up someplace that does, then get it back.
Yeah.
OWCP 915 form will get your money back.
You do not have to wait for an authorization.
But like, go to Dr.
OWCP.
Lee's office, and
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Imaging will do your MRIs for nothing. Surgeons will do your surgical consults for nothing. If there is a neuro issue, the neurosurgeon will do your work for nothing. Nobody's going to ask you for money. So when you go to Dr. Lee's Pinellas Park office and Dr. K, Dr. Suma, Fred, everyone, they've got a network of people that have committed to not asking you for health insurance card and money. And that's how it should be. Our goal is for you to get help without paying money out of your pocket.
Yeah, they're also getting some surgeons to not take your health insurance, so this is going to be really, really good for you guys. So, with that said, we hope tonight you guys are still not struggling with your COVID claims. So the link pinned below is word for word what you need to do and how you need to do it. Please go to www.ecomp.dol.gov, and that's where you should file your CA1s. And remember, you have 3 years to file, but why wait 3 years if you have a COVID claim?
And Gizmo would really appreciate it if you'd go ahead and get your CA16 and get your COP and don't get screwed by the system.
By any chance, we have a follower on here that we haven't seen for a while, Ron Jackson.
If anybody sees Ron, tell him we miss him and we love him. And Gizmo says hi.
Yeah, because
Gizmo loves Ron
he
Jackson.
hasn't been on for quite a while, and we were just kind of concerned if he's okay.
So if you know Ron Jackson
In Oklahoma.
in Oklahoma, tell him we said hi and we miss him.
Yeah.
And Gizmo says hi, Ron.
Gizmo just got a haircut yesterday.
Doesn't he look funny? Yeah, you look
Everybody's
fine.
saying, hi, Gizmo.
Yeah, you're a funny looking dog.
All right, guys. So again, tomorrow night we will be in Fort Myers from 6:30 to 9, I think. Chris is going to be doing a mini steward and member training. We're going to go over just the basics. It'll just be a half hour, short and sweet. But if you have any questions, if you're having trouble with your denied claims, closed claims, or current claims, you can come by tomorrow at the Fort Myers location. The post has the invite. Please come by. We have a lot of RSVPs. We have some presidents coming. I spoke to Colleen today.
We really want to see you, so
we want to
please
see
come.
you guys in.
And we get all
Fort
kinds
Myers.
of people all the times that RSVP and don't show up, and that's how we all do it. Like, we say we're going to go someplace and we don't. But come to this. We really want to see you. We're making just a short 2-hour drive from here, and I'm really anxious to meet you in person. So if you're there, please come. I really want to meet you, shake your hand. To me, it's important. And anyway, so I hope you'll be there. We really want to see you.
I want to say thank you to both of you, Paul Wedge. No, thank you.
You're welcome.
I will go back after and see if there's any questions that we missed and answer them. Or you can go ahead and message me in the messenger, and I'll answer it there one-on-one. Yeah, he's a daddy's boy. And then don't forget, we will be in Dallas this weekend at the Gaylord Hotel. I will go ahead and post that after this. I have to just look at what restaurant we're going to be at.
No, it's easy. We're going to be down in the sports bar out there.
Okay, there's a sports
They've
bar.
got like a TV screen that's the size of an IMAX screen. It's incredible.
All right, so if you
With
want to
no
come,
football, so we'll watch like college basketball or something else worthless.
if you want to come by and talk to us about your claims, same thing, closed claims, denied claims, or current claims,
Bring your stuff. I'll look at it.
come by the Gaylord on Saturday, this Saturday from 1 to 3. We are going to be there because we are recruiting more doctors for you guys.
Yep.
So we're going
But we
to
want
a
to see you too.
convention.
I mean, really, we want to see you. And whatever problem you're having in the Dallas area or Fort Worth, McKinney, please just come over and say hi. Bring your paperwork, and I'll take a look at it. I'll tell you what to do next. We're really excited to be able to help you. And I'm from there. I'm from the Gaylord Hotel. I've never